We are now talking to former 49ers, Commanders, and Bears wide receiver Josh Morgan. Josh, what's up, bud?
What's up, man? How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me good?
We hear you good, man. You look good too, man. You look healthy.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. The healthiest I've ever been in my life.
There you go. How are you and your family doing ever since the COVID situation, the pandemic?
Man, the pandemic hit hard all across the world, man. And it was a weird time for us because that was actually the time that the doctors wanted to do the kidney transplant when I gave my brother my kidney. So that was a weird time. It was definitely it ended up being perfect time, honestly, because it gave us both enough time to rest and heal because they kind of shut the world down and it kind of let our bodies do what they needed to do to heal properly. So, he could beat that kidney disease and I could heal and do everything I needed. Because 3 weeks before that, I had a knee surgery cleaning up some old football injuries. It was perfect timing for me. 3 weeks prior, I had a knee surgery. Then I did the kidney transplant. I was just what my body needed to just rest and relax.
Well, we're really happy for you. You're healthy, and that's one of the more special things you could do is give your brother a kidney so that he can move on with his life. And you have two kidneys. You can give a kidney up, and that's something that I didn't know about you, and that just makes me look at you even better than I did as a football player. But you have we'll get into your football career in just a few moments. As everybody knows, we are talking to former 49ers, Commanders, and Bears wide receiver Josh Morgan. I had an opportunity to watch you play, and when Speedy told me we were going to get you on the show, I think you could have been used even better as a football player. I think the teams when you were drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in a 6th round in 2008, I watched you play in Virginia Tech. You were a sensational wide receiver. You were a great wide receiver. You had the size, you had the ability to go up there and get the ball. There is a wide receiver in this league right now that plays for the New York Jets that remind me of you. I mean, obviously you're a little smaller than him, but he played like you in Virginia Tech, and that was Denzel Mims, a guy that I thought, your athletic ability, what you did on the field was somewhat like a Denzel Mims. What was it like being drafted to the NFL? What was it like being drafted by Jim Harbaugh and the San Francisco 49ers?
Man, it was definitely a dream come true being drafted, man. That was definitely the first time I had that comparison about him. I gotta check him out a little bit more. He about to play Sunday night here versus the Commanders, so I'm gonna make sure I keep an eye on him. Usually, I get those like Anquan Bolden comparisons or those Debo Samuel comparisons.
He plays the Lions this week against with the Jets. So,
you said the Jets. I thought you said the Giants.
No, Denzel Mims.
I wish the Giants had a receiver like that.
Yeah, Denzel Mims.
I heard you wrong. But no, it was definitely a dream come true, man. Especially, lucky me, I got to play for both of my favorite teams growing up, the 49ers and the Commanders. It was definitely, I agree with you going that route before I broke my leg in San Francisco. But every coach don't have the same idea for you. So you can only control what you can control, right? So, and then, leaving San Francisco, kind of coming to the Redskins, people kind of already got their guys and want to play the guys they draft, no matter how talented you are. So for me to come in here, leaving San Fran without doing any rehab, season-ending injury, signed free agent deal with the Redskins. Like I said, no rehab. They wanted me to go right out and play. Still 6 screws in my leg. I couldn't even flex my ankle.
Wow.
The whole season, and ended up still being the leading receiver that year, my first year in 2012 when we drafted RG3. So to still, had the success I had, being injured every year, having a different quarterback every year, having like 5 different head coaches, I don't take no pity off nobody, man. I think I did what I was supposed to do, despite everything that I went through and all the different changes that I went through. For me to even have the career I had, even at Virginia Tech, like you said, and to never have the same quarterback 2 years in a row, my whole football playing career, it's kind of, I kind of kind of pat myself on the back.
Do you want me to pat you on the back? I can pat you on the back if you want.
Nah, it's just kind of unheard of, man.
I can't jump into the screen, but I can give you a little friendly pat. There you go.
The only person I really see doing that is, man, who is doing that in the league? Probably DeAndre Hopkins. He always got a different quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's just hard to do that in the league, man. So when you get one, that's why I'm happy for Steph. To get with Josh Allen, and guys like that. When you find one, stay there, man. They're going to make your career everything. I mean, look at Jerry Rice with Steve Young and Joe Montana. Look at Marvin Harrison with Peyton Manning and them, Reggie Wayne and them. Everybody had their guy. All the way back to Isaac Bruce with Trent Green and all them. Everybody had their guy, man.
Why wasn't Josh Morgan with Peyton Manning? Why wasn't Josh Morgan with Tom Brady? Why was he thrown to the wolves with Jim Harbaugh and Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick? Or
I got a test question for you.
Go ahead. Let's hit it. Here we go.
Okay, you too, Speedy.
Okay.
Who was my starting quarterback? Don't cheat me because I know y'all on y'all computers. Mm-hmm. Who was my starting quarterback my rookie year with the 49ers, 2008?
Your rookie year with the 49ers.
The rookie year with the 49ers in 2008.
Was it a second stint of Jeff Garcia? Because I thought he had 2 stints with the 49ers.
Man, I win so much money off this question. I give it back, but I always win. No, it definitely wasn't. So I'm going to give you another hint.
Oh, God.
When I got there, it was Mike Nolan was the head coach.
That I remember, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mike Martz was his offensive coordinator.
Mm.
We had just picked up Isaac Bruce in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So the quarterback was a Mike Martz guy.
Mark Bulger?
Nah, from Cincinnati.
Ooh, from Cincinnati.
I'm going to even give you his number. He was number 14.
I have no idea.
No, I don't remember.
A.P. O'Sullivan.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know the name now. No,
I don't think anybody would have
gotten that.
I don't think anybody would have.
I know the name now.
Well, I'm undefeated with that question.
Yeah, with the long hair. I remember him now, but yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that
you
name.
Stumped,
that's a
you
stomper.
stumped one of the guys that usually gets these questions right. Okay, so he is a almanac for players. Okay, so I'm very surprised he didn't know that, but I wouldn't have known that either. 2008. I'm lucky I know if I'm wearing underwear half the time. Okay. You think I'm going to remember what quarterback played with you in 2008? I mean, seriously. Speedy don't wear underwear, by the way.
Yeah, it was funny. You brought that up. We actually had Dyrell Briggs, a former linebacker who also played for the 49ers too, and also with the Green Bay Packers. Yep. So he actually asked us the first time we had the show who was the quarterback of the Chicago Bears that his Packers beat in the NFC Championship game. That one I remembered. It was Caleb Haney when because Jay Cutler was hurt, and then their backup got hurt too, so they brought him in a third string guy, and it was Caleb Haney. So it's funny. He actually asked us that, and we actually remembered that. So it's funny you were quizzing us on that.
We are talking to former 49ers Commanders and Bears wide receiver Josh Morgan.
So I want to go back to where you were saying about the injuries when you first came into Washington too, because we've actually had a lot of guys that have mentioned that too. Brandon Lloyd we had on the show earlier this year.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
He was mentioning that Washington right now with FedEx Field, one of the 2 natural grass fields in the NFL right now, but a lot of players have had issues there coming over to the Commanders. So do you think it's an issue with the field? Do you think it's something else with them? And again, what was the difference playing on that in comparison to other teams you played with?
I wouldn't really say. I see now it's been voted one of the worst fields in the league. But I think it was more so how from ownership on down to how things were ran there. I think things were ran a little better there, especially the communication, just everything. If I'm your top guy, literally they signed me and Pierre Garçon back to back. As soon as free agency hit, first 5 minutes. So if we your top guys coming into free agency, and of course I'm the one coming off a season-ending injury with the 49ers, why not let me rehab? Why not rehab your guy, get him healthy for the season. It just was a lot of the chaos going on at that time. The whole RG3 era, the whole him and Snyder, the whole everything that's looking like it's about to come out. I wouldn't really say it was the field. It was just everything else that was going on that ain't have nothing to do with football.
Josh, you were in the league for a significant amount of time. Do you remember your first touchdown, where you were, and what you did? What was your dance when you got your touchdown? What did you do when you scored your first touchdown as an NFL player?
My first touchdown in the preseason was versus the Packers. It was a bomb up the left sideline right before halftime. I think I ended up catching I had over 100-yard receiving in the touchdown in that game. That was in the preseason. My first regular season touchdown was versus the New York Giants in New York. It was on the double move over the middle versus Corey Webster. And I caught it, and I was already my shoe came off.
I remember that touchdown.
And I was already down there. So I wasn't, all the celebrations they do now, we couldn't do that back then. The rules was different. You got that $5,000 fine quick. So because I always, when I was at Virginia Tech, I wore number 2. I always wore number 2 for both of my grandfathers because they died before they ever got to see me play sports. So I always said a quick prayer, just thanking God and, giving them their honor, make it feel like they still with me. And, I'm doing this for them. So that's what I did after I scored my first touchdown.
Yeah. I'm a Giants fan. I actually kind of remember that because
I remember it. I'm not a Giant fan.
After the Giants Super Bowl 42 win, Sam Madison, who was their number 1 corner, retired. They had Aaron Ross, and Corey Webster was always the slot guy, but I think they moved him outside, exexperiment with him. And I'm like, wait, who's this receiver that just torched him? It was you. Yep. There you go. So speaking of the Giants and 49ers, I want to go back to the first season you had with Jim Harbaugh in 2011, where you guys went to the NFC Championship game. So Jim Harbaugh, we've seen his personality definitely be a big thing with the 49ers, and then with Michigan too, especially with some of the recruiting stuff he does. So what was he like on and off the field?
I like Jim Harbaugh, by the way.
Jim Harbaugh was a creative genius, man. Ooh. It's a lot of stuff with him, but he's a creative genius. Especially for me, I was an offensive guy. He was a player coach. He going to teach the game from the quarterback position. And everything he made us practice, we would be practicing unbalanced line, and because they're going to see Joe over here, and they're going to think we're going to run this way, and we're going to bring another tackle off an unbalanced line, running the drag route across the field, and we're going to hit him for a touchdown. And next thing you know, you get in the game, and it's 3rd and 1, and Coach Harbaugh done called this shit perfectly. So he was just one of those guys. Like he created situations, and you thinking like, man, what are we doing? Like it felt like Little League at times. Some of the plays we drawing up, but he actually run them in the game, and they work to perfection. Of course, everybody know. The whole infamous. We losing, the lights go out in the stadium, and then next thing you know, lights come back on, and we start coming back, and we end up winning the game. I think that happened twice that year. But Jim Harbaugh was a great guy, man. I really hated not being able to stay out there and play for him. When I broke my leg, the 6th game of that season, and he was the first one there when I woke up from my surgery.
Wow.
He was always constantly checking on me. He was always honest with me throughout the free agent process. Told me straight up, man, we want you, we love you, we want to keep you here. We definitely want to get a veteran guy back with you and Crabtree, and he was talking about bringing Randy Moss in, who ended up coming. And he was just an honest, real guy, man. And you got to respect that in that profession, man, because a lot of people all about the money and all about whatever the people upstairs doing. I mean, you to his character and to his testament, he was so powerful that he scared Trent Baalke, because Trent Baalke was the GM at that time. And if this is your head coach and he take you from a 500 team to a playoff team back to back to the Super Bowl, why wouldn't you keep him?
I would agree with you.
He required too much power, He was too powerful, and he did it his way, and his way worked. So
There's a reason Byron Leftwich didn't want to coach the Jaguars.
Definitely, man. He's scared of Trent there, man.